Dirk Wolfer of the Hungarian-German Chamber of Commerce.
Certain industries, starting from the retail sector until the manufacturing sector, companies are telling us that they are desperately looking for engineers, but also for lower skills levels.
Hungary. 10,000 employees in 9 factories. They're one of the biggest manufacturers of circuit boards for cars and household appliances in Europe. The director, Otto Schinko, told me they're now short of at least 200 engineers. They've recently sent recruiters to find them in neighbouring Ukraine and even in the Far East, with little success.
We are looking for workers everywhere, inside of Hungary and outside of Hungary as well. Definitely, Ukraine is one of the places where we should pay attention to. Quite frankly, I am not too optimistic of how many workers are we going to find there.
Disastrously low birth rates in Hungary since the 1980s have combined with an exodus of young, mostly skilled people to Britain and beyond. Another big problem is the collapse of vocational training in Hungary, the communist era. Dirk Wolfer of the Hungarian-German Chamber of Commerce again.
Companies have to do something about the training of the existing people. They can try to retain people before they go to a Western country to work. They can raise the salaries, of course. This would also retain people in Hungary.
Another strategy which local and multinational companies are using to attract and retain employees is to increase the perks on offer. The McDonald's food chain has just announced free housing for its employees in Hungary. The Swedish home furnishing store IKEA also offers a wide range of opportunities to its staff. I've come out to the 17th district of Budapest to see the country's 3rd IKEA store under construction. Esther Varga is the head of public relations.
Definitely you need to have a good base salary and a good benefit package in order for people to want to work for IKEA. But I think it's just as important that they see that there are development possibilities, that there are many different areas where they can try themselves, or even they would like to try themselves abroad. It's also a possibility for such a multinational company.
From January, a new vocational training system with much more job experience for secondary school students is due to be tried in Hungary, based on the German model. But that will only start to help fill places in 3 years' time. Most analysts agree that gaps in the labour market will have to be filled first by those in Hungary now, from the Roma minority, for example, and the long-term unemployed.
Nick Thorpe reporting from Budapest. Every week at about this time we hear from Lucy Kellaway of the Financial Times. That means every Monday she has to come up with a new topic to talk about. And every Monday she delivers. How does she do it? Is it because she has a great creative imagination? She doesn't seem to think so.
I'm not creative. Neither are most of my colleagues. Experience, knowledge, practice, judgment, skill and intelligence play a part of being a journalist. So does an ability to write and to think. But creativity barely comes into it. For the last 2 decades, business people have talked rot about what it is to be creative. On LinkedIn, there are nearly 2 million people with creative. There are 32,000 openings specifying creativity in London alone, compared to only 2,700 requesting politeness and barely 300 cooperativeness. That being polite and cooperative are vital traits for every job I've ever heard of, whereas most companies have no use for real creativity at all. Management experts are fanning the fire by sillier and sillier research. The daftest was written up in the Harvard Business Review, recommending companies give their staff ludicrous titles like Imagineers to make them feel more creative. The other day I came across the first sign that creativity worship may have peaked. Fast Company published an How to be less creative at work and why you sometimes should. It argued that too much creativity can make you a nuisance to your boss, and that often the smart thing for a business is to forget new ideas and go on doing what it's doing. There are 2 extraordinary things about this. For a start, it's right. Secondly, it was published by an organisation that more than any other has hyped this brainless trend. For companies' mission to inspire who are actively inventing the future of business. It is possible that ordinary workers are starting to chafe after 2 decades of last week at our meeting by WPP invited all its employees to gather in rooms on different continents and play with Lego to construct their own visions of an extraordinary world. Did they find pretending to be kids with colourful bricks unleashed a gale of creativity? Not all of them. One member of staff emailed me to tell me about the dismal day, writing in the subject line, "The most nonsensical thing that ever happened in my workplace." The Merriam-Webster dictionary says creativity is the ability to make new things or think of new ideas. There are hardly any, and most rather very bad, after all, sold only one painting in his whole life. Those capable of genuine new ideas are few and far between. Both do things entirely their own way. Neither has made much it, and it would hate them. To survive, companies need to change from time to time. They need to do things slightly differently from how they were done before. But for that, they don't need creativity. They need people with intelligence and judgment to work out the right variations on existing ideas. More than that, they need people with the determination to test those ideas, tweak accordingly, and turn them into sales.
Lucy Kellaway of the Financial Times. There's a heartrending story on our website. Children from Syria, refugee children, who've made their way to Turkey and are needing to work in sewing workshops, making clothes for big Western brands in order to survive. Go to bbcnews.com, click on business to read more about that story. For now, thanks for listening to this edition of World Business Report.
This is the BBC World Service, where every week Owen Bennett-Jones and guests take